After Zoomies at the dog park, it's time for Drive Up at Target. In goes a big bag of kibble and one squeaky chicken toy for the good boy. Drive Up that's ready when you are, only in the Target app. Just tap Target.
This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino Ciao, a new kind of flavored sparkling water. The kind made with real fruit juice, a pinch of Sicilian salt, and the sparkle of the Italian sun. With no added sugar and just 10 or less calories per can, enjoy. With love, from Italy. By San Pellegrino Ciao now.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
My name is Happy Gilmore. I haven't swung a club in years.
You know what you gotta do. Grip it and rip it.
Or... Oh, now that is some Happy Gilmore.
Everyone is talking about the comeback kid, Happy Gilmore.
Happening.
Yeah, baby.
Happy Gilmore 2, only on Netflix July 25th. Rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Sports are all about teamwork, and so is insurance. Whether you need an in-person or digital assist, State Farm is there to help you choose the right coverage for your home, car, and more. Get a game plan that helps fit your life and talk to State Farm today. State Farm with the assist. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability and eligibility vary by state.
I may live over about 3,000 miles away by myself. I never remember where Shane is from. But I'm flying solo this week on a brand new recording platform. So if anyone happens to be randomly hanging around at 11 a.m. US time or Eastern time, please jump in the chat and tell me that this is working. This is the first time ever using this platform. As I said, I'm flying solo, so chaos could happen today, especially because I'm flying solo and sharing my screen as well. So as if there wasn't enough to worry about, I'm going to try and fly solo on here as well. And if it doesn't work as a live and no one can hear me, as long as it is recorded, I will get this on the feed. We'll get this out on the feed afterwards as well. So Shane is away. So me and Shane are both traveling a lot at the moment. I was away last week. He is away this week, and I'll be away next week. So Matt chiming in, it's working, legend. So to be honest, I had a few cool ideas, film related, and one of them was to do a Terrace Marshall breakdown. And then as I literally was about to record about 2 hours ago, a report came out that Terrace Marshall was injured, and I'm hoping that that's only minor, but I thought I would just hold off on that for a second before I got to it. So everyone's done 53-man roster projections. I haven't done mine yet, so I thought, why not? Let's go solo and do it. I'll give it a little bit of a twist, though. I guess I'll share my insight into doing it rather than just doing it. I'm going to hopefully share my screen. I've not done one yet, and I'm going to set a time limit because there's no way I'm recording by myself for an hour. So some people suggested 20 to 30. I might just go over 25-minute time limit, which may sound a long time, but half of that's trying to figure out how to drag people across an Excel. And you might be able to watch me just malfunction live on air if I just can't figure out how to work the technology out. And also when I get to 55 plays and have to cut 2 and I've got 10 minutes left and I'm deliberating forever. So it probably helps if you're watching this one. You can absolutely listen and I will talk through what I'm doing and my full process. But if you are watching, it's a little bit helpful because hopefully you're going to see the spreadsheet. So I'm going to start before I do actually set a timer. I'm going to begin by sharing my screen. I'm not going to have a fancy timer up on the board because that seems impossible. So I've got my wonderful stopwatch on my phone that I will be holding up. And if anyone doesn't believe me, check the tape. I will take 25 minutes, unless technology hates me, in which case it might take a little bit longer. So first thing I've got to do is, for the wonderful people watching, I'm going to share my screen, which is step 1. And I sound like the biggest IT idiot here. This is a brand new recording platform that we've only just started using. That's why I sound like an absolute moron. And I don't do any of this stuff. Shane does it all, as many of you have listened for a while will know. So Matt, I'm hopeful you're still hanging around in the chat. If you can see what I'm looking at, that would be wonderful. Hopefully you can see a wonderful screen with about 90 Eagles players listed on it when I click on it. It's working. Legend. That's not even Matt. Hello, Yakko. Yes, if you can see the screen, that would be wonderful. And I'm about to melt down, basically. Yakko, just confirm you can see the good old spreadsheet in front of you for those listening. I basically went on the Philadelphia Eagles roster and downloaded this thing with everyone's name on it. So if anyone's name is missing, if anyone's wrong, hopefully I'll figure it out as I'm doing it. But I'm hoping that everybody's name is available. Right, Matt's moaning at me for spending time talking about time. That is actually a fair point. So let's do it. You can't see my phone because you should be watching the screen, but I'm hitting go and I'm already stressed. So this is great, isn't it? I'm trying to figure out technology and I'm stressed already and I haven't even started doing this. I probably should have looked at some other people's online before I make an absolute idiot of myself and people ask me what I'm seeing and why I'm ranking these. But this is just my own take as to what I think will happen, probably based on my own film study and talent level, rather than anything I'm hearing, because I have absolutely no sources at all. So let's begin, and I'm hitting play now. So let's see how easy I can do this. We're going to start a quarterback. I'm going to go with the Eagles keeping 3 quarterbacks, which won't surprise anyone. The Eagles are going to keep Jalen Hurts, Tanner McKee, and I'm going to go for Kyle McCord. I know DTR's apparently been having quite a good camp, so fair play. And if the Eagles want to run a ton of QB counter bash this year, which I know they love to do, maybe they'll keep a more mobile quarterback, but I feel like DTR is just not very good from any of my own film study of him. So I'm going to assume that they're not going to keep DTR over Kyle McCord. Short and sweet there, unless McKee gets traded to a team in desperate need of a QB. I'm going to go with those 3. Running back, I also think is pretty easy. Looking down the list, there's not a great deal of competition. It's going to be Saquon 1. I do think Dylan's going to make it. And the notes about Dylan being good in pass protection, I think, were interesting the other day. I've been penciling in Shipley for like that 3rd down back role, but who knows? Maybe AJ Dillon has something to say about that as well, because he's a big guy with a lot of experience. So I'm going to keep 3 running backs. And then I had to add a lovely little position called fullback for Ben Van Sumeren, of course, to make the roster. If I've figured this out correctly as well, I will have a lovely little number, there we go, telling me how many players I've got left so I don't run out of room at some point. Although I've strategically managed to not make it on the screen. There we go. So I've got 7 already. I'll definitely imagine they will keep Ben Van Sumeren. So far, this is easy. It probably looks like everybody else's. I think wide receiver is where things change a little bit. So the obvious 2 we're going to start with are AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is conveniently missing, so I will add him in here. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, of course. Then things, I think, to be honest, get tricky almost immediately. So they're going to keep Dotson unless something magic happens and the Eagles just decide they've really, really had enough of him. But I imagine Dotson will obviously make the roster. Whether he'll start or not is a whole other question. Based on what I'm reading, and this is why I wanted to do a film review of him, I really think Terrace Marshall's got a very good chance of making it. Terrace Marshall was very talented coming out. I questioned when he came out about his deep speed. I saw him more as a big slot guy, and I think there's a role in the Eagles offense for that. So I wonder if that will be someone or somebody that ends up in that big slot role. And the Eagles have got a few players that can play there. Now I'm really split, and this is why I'm not going to delete everyone's name. I don't think Aniyah Smith makes it. I just saw nothing last year to suggest he does. I like what I read about Danny Gray in terms of in the preseason practices. He seems to have sort of been making a little bit of a name for himself. I'm not sold on Johnny Wilson, as many people know. I think I might come back to receiver because the Eagles have a return man as well, Avery Williams, that I believe should count for this exercise as a receiver. Probably should have checked that out, but I'm pretty sure Avery Williams is a receiver. If I'm completely wrong, someone let me know. But I'm almost certain he is. So I'm hoping Avery Williams is down here somewhere. There he is. He is a kick returner, punt returner here. So do I go... Tell you what, I'll go Avery Williams and I'll go Johnny Wilson. I'm going to have the Eagles keeping 6. But honestly, don't feel that good about Johnny Wilson, and I wouldn't be shocked if I end up bidding him later on. Tight end. Tight end's an interesting one. I think I feel a little bit differently to other people. Based on everything I read, I just think Calcaterra is going to make it. Yeah, Matt commenting about Marshall's injury. It really does. It really does impact it. Hopefully it's nothing serious. For the point of this, let's assume it's not. Goddard's obviously Titan 1. I don't want Calcaterra to be Titan 2, but the Eagles seem to want to make it a thing. I think Eagles organisationally like stability at a lot of positions, and I think they'll give Calcaterra the chance. I can't see the Eagles keeping 4 tight ends and a fullback. I don't see that as a... They're not talented enough to do it. And to be honest, I think you could pick Jenkins, Muse, Bryant or Granson. Based on my own film study, didn't see enough of Jenkins last year. I think Kylan Granson makes sense if you don't have a fullback. I think he's one of those H-back types. You could argue that you want to keep Granson because if something happens to BVS, you've got another option. But I'm going to go with Harrison Bryant as more of an over... I think he's just a better player. I like Bryant. I think he's a better tight end than the others on the list. And I think what that gives you is if Goddard goes down, you've got someone that can actually replace him. I don't think Calcaterra can replace Goddard, and I don't think Kylan Granson can replace him. Whereas I think Harrison Bryant at least can play in a similar style. Matt chiming in again about Danny Gray over Johnny Wilson. Yeah, I really, really am not confident on me keeping Wilson. I think if I'm keeping Avery Williams, though, then he's not really going to play receiver, and we can't have 4. Does Danny Gray make it over him? I'm still not convinced. I'm going to leave it as that for now. I think my gut tells me that is where the Eagles will go. Right, we're going to move down to... And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all this up to make it easier for myself. That's nicer. Right, this is now I'm going to have an absolute nightmare. I'm going to forget loads of names here. So let's just start with the starters to make things easy. So Jordan Mailata is obviously one of the starters. Landon Dickerson at left guard. There's your 2. Obviously Cam Jurgens. I'm going to just assume for the sake of this exercise that Tyler Steen is starting. It doesn't really matter to me if he does or not. He's going to make the roster after all. I'm going, and obviously Lane Johnson at right tackle. Then I'm going to have my definites. So who are my definites? And Cam Williams is not. Kenyon Green is not to me. Drew Kendall is. Is Brett Tooth? Probably not. Let's pencil in Drew Kendall at the moment as the backup centre. Everything I read about Brett Tooth is that his snapping is a bit of a disaster. So I will not include him. I'm going to include Matt Pryor as my backup right guard. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think there's a decent chance he starts. Then I have trouble, basically. I don't like Kenyon Green, and I do like Trevor Keegan more. And I don't know if that's controversial these days. I think Keegan can give you centre snaps. So I'm going to keep Keegan at left guard, and I'm going to maybe say Kenyon Green doesn't make the team, which I don't think will be very popular because I know a lot of people like Kenyon Green, but I don't see it personally. Not with the way I watched him. He just didn't look good enough to me. And it feels like one of those sort of projects that you try to save and then you may end up regretting it as you come towards cut day. Which means I've currently got 8 offensive linemen. I'm not a 53-man guy. That's never something I've done before, as many of you can tell by the way I'm doing this. But I'm pretty sure we always keep about 10 offensive linemen. Who am I adding here? I just realised I butchered that. So let me change this very quickly. Where do I go with this one? So I'm up to 6 offensive line. I need 2 more. See, Cameron Williams is the one I want to keep. Just don't think he's ready. And I think BLG has speculated that Cam Williams is like a make-up IR. Cam Williams is tricky because I think he's going to get picked up. I think he has to be like a fake IR or you just take him. But I think because they drafted Hinton first, I'm going to go with Hinton above him just purely because I don't want to overrate my own evaluation on this. Just because I think sometimes you can overrate yourself, and at the end of the day, the Eagles took Hinton above Cam Williams. I'm going to hope Cam Williams makes it on Phantom IR. He has a random terrible injury. That means I got one spot left. So I've got Mylata, Dickerson, Jurgenstein, Johnson, obviously. I've got Keegan, my backup left guard, roughly. Kendall, centre. Matt Pryor, right guard. Hinton at whatever tackle. Would they take someone with a bit of guard versatility like a Holland Pierce? I might come back to it. Would they keep Darian Kinnard? This is where... I'm going to leave... I'm tempted to leave tackle for now. Kendall Lamb. I don't know enough about Kendall Lamb. I should look up... I don't think... Right, I'm going to pencil in Lamb and just pick him. And I might come back to Cam Williams later. I'm going to pencil in Lamb, but I'm going to put Williams with a question mark. And before I hit submit on the final attempt, I will come back to that position. That's not one I'm certain of. Right, I've already put in my 3 special teams guys, by the way. Braden Mann, Jake Elliott, and Charlie Hewlett Longstapper, which means I need to get to 50, not to 53, by the way. And I'm on 26, which means I've already got one more offensive player than defensive player, so I already don't like myself, and I'm already regretting this. Yako coming in saying projecting the practice squad. The practice squad, man. Are you seeing the stress I'm going through protecting the 53? I mean, many people may know by now. I watched a film. I don't deal with all this stuff. This is not my thing. So maybe I'll give you like some random guys I'd like to see make it at the end, but there's no way I'm projecting the practice squad. How many people are even on a practice squad these days? Is it 8? Is it 10? You Madden guys, give me a shout. Right, now I've got to really hate myself because I've got to somehow make up a number. So, defensive tackle. Obviously, Jalen Carter. Obviously, Jordan Davis. That's obviously no surprise. And obviously, Moro Jomo. That makes up 3. Obviously, Ty Robinson, of course, that makes up 4. For the sake of this. Then I come to the 5th, which I'm almost certain they'll keep 5. Thomas Booker, I like. Gabe Hall, I liked last year, but haven't seen enough. Yako thinks it's 12. Yep, you could be right. For someone who covers the Eagles partly for a living, it's amazing how much stuff I don't know about the basics, but that's just the way I am. I've always focused on watching these guys rather than doing this kind of thing. Haven't seen enough of Byron Young. I didn't see enough of, obviously, Gabe Hall didn't do anything last year. I like what I've seen of Thomas Booker. So let's pencil in Thomas Booker as the 5th defensive tackle. And also, if my spreadsheet is dramatically forgetting someone, please comment and tell me. But I don't think it has so far. I do know the Eagles roster pretty well. And I can't think of anyone I'm dramatically forgetting. I should have put the total number in, shouldn't I, there? So I'm going to add the total there. Right. Moving on, edge defender. Edge is going to be one of those ones that I think is an easy top 4. And then once again, it's a difficult 5th if I'm going to keep 5, that is. So obviously Nolan Smith is your starting edge defender. And I think based on everything we're reading, he's going to start opposite Jalix Hunt, who's obviously making the roster as well. Nothing, and Vic Fangio himself said no one has jumped out from the backup position at all. But I'm still quite a strong believer that Ojulari is a good player, and based on what I saw last year, and therefore he will make it. I'm also definitely of the opinion that Josh Uche will make it, not because I think he's very good, but just because I think the Eagles need a body in the room. Then it comes down to this new guy they've signed. Is it Aquanacro? How do you pronounce his name? And the rookie they drafted, Antoine Powell-Ryland Jr. Anyone on the Patreon, firstly, shout out you. Secondly, hopefully you saw me and Shane talk about Powell-Ryland in his All-22 review, and we weren't particularly impressed. But I still think the way this Eagles organisation is, they prioritise youth if they can. I can't imagine they cut someone like him, and I can't imagine he makes it to the practice squad with whatever 16 sacks or whatever. Oh, really, Yako? 16. Wow, there's no way I'm predicting them. Oh, timer, by the way. 13 minutes. Ugh. All right, I'm over halfway. I think I'll make it in 25. 20 is going to be a rush. So, Powell-Ryland's going to be my 5th edge. Yeah, don't feel great about him. Could easily see the Eagles taking someone else there. I think just on a sack to snap, whatever I'm trying to say, on a production basis in college, it's hard for someone like him to make the roster because he's not going to escape through the practice squad. Right, on to linebacker. And Nakobe Dean is going on IR, so he doesn't count towards this. So he's, or whatever it's called, whatever the thing is these days that they call it. He's not making it, so he's not going to make the roster, but he's obviously going to make it when he comes back, which does make things easier for me here, because it means I've got another little spot. I think Zach Bourne's going to make it, obviously. I think Jahar Campbell's going to make it, obviously. That's 2. I think Jeremiah Trotter is going to make it, and I also think Mondon is going to make it, especially without Nakobe Dean. That leaves me with 4 linebackers. Considering the Eagles barely ever play with 3 on the field, that feels doable, especially as you know that Nakobe Dean is coming back. So at the moment I'm going to keep 4. I don't know if that's terrible, and people that do projections are laughing at me, saying there's no way you can keep 4. But let's keep 4 for now and see what we're at numbers-wise. Cornerback. Obviously, Quinion Mitchell is going to be your starter. And I think it's pretty clear that Adoree Jackson is going to make the team. Sounds like he's going to start. I can't see him on my list there. So I'll throw him in there. Although Ringo's not had the best of camps, I think it would be incredibly surprising if he doesn't make the roster. So I'll add him. I haven't put a nickel slot, but obviously Cooper DeJean is going to be the starting nickel. I feel very good about Mac McWilliams making it, based on what I've read and the fact that he can back you up in a nickel as well. That means I would have Eli Ricks on the outside looking in currently. So I'm going to leave his name there just in case the Eagles keep 6. Would the Eagles keep 6? I think numbers-wise I'm doing all right here, unless I've missed anyone terribly. Yako's just having an internal discussion about practice squad, which is good fun. Someone commented saying, what's up with Kenyon Green? Alejandro, hello. I just don't like him very much, based on my own evaluation of him. Just thought he was very, very raw. And in all honesty, it's a numbers game. I just think I liked Keegan's film last year. So I'm a little bit like, why would you get rid of Keegan when you haven't seen him yet? And I think Matt Pryor's he's played a lot of games of late, and I think the Eagles are not going to want an injury to derail their season. I think unless Kenyon Green shows a lot in training camp, I think he might just not be good enough, in all honesty. I don't know how else to say it. But yeah, fair enough. That one probably won't be popular with Eagles Twitter. Right, unless I've done this horribly wrong then, I seem to have a few extra... Well, no, I'm bang on if I keep 5 safeties, which I didn't think I would. But if I'm only keeping 5 cornerbacks, then maybe that makes sense. Should have added up offense and defense, shouldn't I? I'll do that at the end. So, right, safety, you've obviously got Sidney Brown as one of your safeties. He will make the roster. You've obviously got Reed Blankenship as your starting safety, and I think it's pretty fair to say, obviously, you've got Makuba. That leaves me with 3, so then I need to work through the others. So Makuba has made it. Loads of people talk quite about Lewis Kine because he was a former first-round pick, but I've not read or heard anything. I think McCollum's going to make it because of where he was in the pecking order last year and how he did. So I've got Tristan McCollum there. Right. I think I'm left with a player. So I've currently got 4 safeties. I'm guessing the Eagles are going to keep 5. 3 on special teams. Everyone in the chat, help me out. Am I missing anyone that's disastrous? As in, am I missing a dodgy position? I probably should have checked. I've got 3.
Not all meals are created equal. For instance, breakfast has the spicy egg McMuffin for a limited time, and lunch doesn't. McDonald's breakfast comes first. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. but stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to help you make the most of your summer with Michelob Ultra, a superior light beer worth playing for. Play for it with the guys when you're competing to see who can sink more birdies on the golf course, because winning tastes even better with Ultra on the line. Play for Ultra. Fill your fridge with Michelob Ultra this summer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Empower. Tim collects bobbleheads. A lot of bobbleheads. Baseball bobbleheads. Race car bobbleheads. Little Chihuahua bobbleheads. He's got an entire room strictly for bobbleheads. Does he need them? No. Is his wife mad about it? A little. But Tim works with Empower, and he got good at money, so he can be a little bad. Ooh, horse bobblehead. Classy, Tim. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Special teams, and I got 49, which means I've got 52 currently, which means I can keep a fifth safety, or I can keep a sixth corner. How am I doing time-wise? I will actually get this done, won't I? Which is cool. In 20 minutes. I want to put Cam Williams on, man. I still don't like Johnny Wilson being on there. Tough. Eli Ricks. I don't know if Ricks is good enough from what I've seen. Right, now I'm just mentally deliberating everything within myself about how to do this. Do you know what? I think from what I've read, story, culture, special teams, I don't know if it's popular, but I'm not going to keep Ricks. I'm not going to keep Lewis Cam. I'm going to keep Andre Sam. If you don't know Andre Sam's story, it's a really cool story. I wrote about him last year. And everything I read is that culturally he's top. And I think the Eagles might prioritise that. So I've now got 50 plus 3 on special teams, means I have 53. So I've managed to do that in... I'm pausing my timer. 1856. I've missed out Cam Williams and I've missed out Danny Gray. And I'm deliberating. The problem is I don't think you can keep Hinton and Williams as... I don't think you can keep both of them as your backup tackles. You're just so light. And the Eagles are light at tackle already. I've gone with Kendall Lamb over him at tackle. But is that any safer than Cam Williams, really? Obviously, no, it's not, is it? I sort of want to... Cam Williams has been... Kendall Lamb's played a lot of games, and he's been around for a while, and I think just maybe you leave him in there just because he's done enough. He's played enough of late, and I think the two rookies are too risky. I've cheated and put Dean on the pup list, so I haven't missed him out. So for those of you that don't have a watching, if I run through this very quickly then. So I've managed to get to 50. I've gone with, is it 26 on offense? I've got to do quick maths now. 13, 19. Yeah, I've gone with 26 on offense, 24 on defense, which I don't know if that's by design or whether just a strength of who's on offense. If I had to imagine cuts as well, I could imagine Powell Ryland not making it for someone who's traded for. I could imagine Johnny Wilson not making it for somebody else. Johnny Wilson, you could count him as a tight end, I guess. You could even say that you could potentially keep a fourth tight end and get rid of Johnny Wilson. So Hurts, McKee, McCall at quarterback, Barkley, Dillon, Shipley at running back, Ben Van Sumeren at fullback, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Dotson, Terrace Marshall, Avery Williams, Johnny Wilson at wide receiver. Avery Williams purely as a kick returner and punt returner, and Terrace Marshall remains to be seen, obviously, in terms of how bad the injury is from today. Goddard, Calcaterra, and Bryant at tight end. I'd like someone more than Calcaterra, if I'm honest. I'd be very happy, to be honest, with Goddard, Bryant, and Carlin Granson, but I think the Eagles will prioritise Calcaterra. Then 10 offensive linemen. My last pick is in Jurgen Steen-Johnson with no Kenyon Green, no Cam Williams. I don't think Cam Williams makes the practice squad, so I think you're going to have a Phantom IR. Lamb, Keegan, Kendall, Pryor, Hinton as backups. I've gone Hinton over Williams, not based on my own evaluation, just purely over draft stock, and I think the Eagles want a little bit of veteran leadership there with Lamb and Pryor, who I think can step in and play, and I like Keegan's film more than I like Green's film. I'll probably get that wrong because I'm basing it off my own opinion rather than what the Eagles will do, but there you go. That's just how I see it. Then I've got 5 defensive linemen: Carter, Ajomo, Davis, Ty Robinson, Thomas Booker. I could deliberate over Gabe Hall, but I've gone Booker. Edge, Smith, Hunt, Ojolari, Uche, and Powell Ryland. Yeah, I think that's pretty set in stone, unless I could easily see the Eagles adding one more. I've gone with 4 linebackers because Dean's coming back, and I think Bourne, Campbell, and Trotter are a safe 3. And I think Mondon's good enough to play if needed. And I think the Eagles are going to live in nickel and dime. So you probably don't need to carry 5 if you're only playing 2 at any one point. Quarterback, I go with Matt McWilliams as my 5th. So I've got Ringo, DeJean, Mitchell, Jackson, Matt McWilliams rather than Eli Ricks. And then at safety, I've gone with 5 as well: Blankenship, Sidney Brown, Makuba, Tristan McCollum, and Andre Sam. And then at special teams, I've gone with Braden Mann, Jake Elliott, and Charlie Hewlett because that's what everyone else says, and I don't care about special teams. So that is my 53. It's on the screen now. So someone, Yako, you asked you about practice squad. Yeah, I've deleted all the names now. So based on who I didn't include, right? So practice squad, who could I realistically see, or who would I actually want the Eagles to keep on the practice squad? I think the obvious one is going to be Cam Williams. And in fact, let me bring it up from last year. It might make things easier if I look at last year's. I am fully waffling at the end now, so I'll wrap this up short and sweet for the first solo one, and then we just pray it downloads and everything works. Because I lost practice squad basically a few years ago when they just changed how it all worked. Because now basically anyone can go on it, can't they? So I've no idea. Let's go position by position. No idea if they got a back who makes it on there, so I'm not going to bother commenting. I think DTR could easily make it. I think DTR makes a lot of sense on practice squad because you can use him as a scout QB, and whenever you're playing guys like the Jaden Daniels of the world, so many mobile quarterbacks these days, you can use him to run a lot of your mobile stuff in the week. So let's say DTR as a practice squad. A lot of people probably expect Terrace Marshall, but I think he'll make the roster. So let's go with, can Danny Gray make it? If he makes it, maybe him. Tight end, I could see Granson if he's allowed on there. I could see EJ Jenkins if he's allowed on there. And the other guy whose name is against me. Hopefully Cam Williams can make it. Hopefully Holland Pierce can make it. They're the 2 that I would like. Brett Tooth as well, I guess, Yako, because you need a backup centre, which is an important one. I think maybe even Green can stick on there. I think maybe even Kenyon Green could stick on the practice squad, if possible. That'll be about 4 or 5. There's quite a lot of spots left, isn't there, as well? Edge, no idea. I'd like Powell Ryland to go on there and to draft someone. But I don't think that will happen. I think it'd be too risky. I definitely want the 2 defensive tackles on there. I really want to keep Gabe Hall around and Byron Young as well, because I like both their film. But Gabe Hall in particular would be someone I would want to keep on there. Linebacker, no clue because I've taken everyone I'd want. Quarterback, I'd obviously want Eli Ricks to make it. And then maybe if they can keep someone like Lewis Chine on there as well, I would keep him hanging around. Right. I should be back on this lovely screen now. Sorry for the lack of an intro music. And there's also going to be no outro music because in the words of Shane, this new system is too complicated and I'll probably get it wrong, which is probably true. Right, before I sign off, a little quick plug. I've been writing for Bleeding Green, all of the rookie reviews. If you haven't had a look at them, please do. I think too many people don't hold themselves to account. And I don't mean that as in you were right, you were wrong. So the way I've done the rookie reviews this year is I've copied and pasted, literally, word for word, my summary of the previous year and what I said about him. And then I've broken it down into categories with things I expected. So I've taken some of my own quotes and said this is what basically I expected this to happen. I've got things that surprised me. Then I've got questions I still have. And then I've got a little section at the end about the future and what I expect that player to be like. Jelix Hunt, Cuba DeJean and Quinion Mitchell are already posted. and Will Shipley and Johnny Wilson will be posted very soon. I try and include some film and also some interesting stats. For example, I was looking at Johnny Wilson earlier on when I was writing this and going back and watching some of his film. And the thing that surprised me was how often the Eagles played him outside. And I think if Wilson is to make the roster, I think I want to see him as more of a big slot. And I speak about why in that particular piece. So yeah, if you could check out that, I might get something on Terrace Marshall this week. Shane is away until Friday, and I go away on Friday. I am back the day the Eagles preseason begins. So the second I return, I'll be straight into Eagles preseason film. Except for that, if you're not on the Shane page Patreon, please come and hang, because I spend most of my life there rather than on Twitter, because it is much more enjoyable and we have much better quality of conversation. Right, I'm gonna get out of here. No exit music. So take care, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.